How's it going, everyone? Dr. Frankie Bashan here, and it's Thursday, and I've got a topic that's important that I want to cover with you all. But before I jump into today's topic, I want to thank you for subscribing to my channel. I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers, which is amazing. So amazing. So I'm grateful to you all for showing up weekly here with me and continuing to encourage me to do what I'm passionate about, which is connecting with you all and sharing my thoughts, my suggestions, tools, skills that I've learned, acquired through years, 2 decades of working with clients face to face as a clinical psychologist, board certified sex therapist, and professional matchmaker. We're into our 16th year at Little Gay Book. So much to celebrate. And there's no way in the world that I could be here today doing what I am doing and passionate about without the support from you all. So thank you. And for those of you that are new to my channel, we talk about everything under the sun related to interpersonal relationships, sex, dating, romance, like how to navigate life basically, and to do it in a way where you're taking care of yourself, you are showing up kindly towards others, and you're doing it all gracefully. That's the goal, right? And continuing to evolve and learn about ourselves and um, just be like living successfully, meaning that like living in our abundance and with surrounded by good people and being really kind to ourselves. So yeah, subscribe to my channel if you're new and you are interested in learning about a lot of different topics related to increasing your ability to connect with people and with yourself. So thanks again. And let's just jump into today's topic, which is what you need to know about dating and HIV positivity. In many ways, it's a more encouraging time than ever before when it comes to HIV. There are new drug treatments that offer potentially astounding levels of protection against HIV infection, and new avenues towards a cure are being explored actively, which for me, like just even to be able to say that is huge because I grew up in New York City, surrounded by many gay people early on in the 80s that I watched struggle and suffer and die. So it's so amazing. We've made so many strides where you can live a long, successful life without dealing with so much pain and suffering because of all of the progress we've made medically around HIV and prevention and all that good stuff. So at the time, over 1 million people in the US are still living with HIV. On National Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, I want to share what it is that you should know when you're dating and everything you should know around HIV positivity. Educate yourself and maybe your dates. If you're not HIV positive and your familiarity with HIV dates mostly back to the 80s or 90s or even early 2000s, you may be missing important context for the current status of living with the disease. And I want to share a few important things to consider with you all. Having HIV is no longer a death sentence. Drug therapy and treatment means that people with HIV actually can live a really long, healthy life. In addition to offering HIV positive people good day to day health, antiviral treatment for HIV makes it less transferable, less transmissible, or even prevents transmission entirely. Despite facing a radically different and better set of prospects that people who contracted HIV decades ago, HIV positive people still face stigma and discrimination, as well as higher risk for some illnesses and medical challenges. Severe illnesses and opportunistic infections due to HIV are much less common today, thanks to effective treatments that we now have access to. This means that it's entirely possible to date and have sex with an HIV positive person without contracting HIV, and to be able to plan for a life together, actually a long-term life together. It doesn't mean HIV will have zero impact on their life and yours by association. But if you're nervous about navigating HIV status, communicating with your date about how it actually shows up in their life and their partners may alleviate your fears around it. If you're an HIV positive person, it's also important to educate yourself on how HIV positivity impacts you and your dating life. You may already know that effective antiviral treatment can reduce your viral load to undetectable levels, which is incredible to even, again, to be having this conversation, to be able to say that is amazing. A small number of people aren't able to get their viral load to undetectable levels, even with antivirals, but barrier methods remain a great safer sex option. And I definitely have talked about that on my blog and on my YouTube channel before. So definitely dig in there if you want to see safer sex options, what those suggestions are. Fewer people know that some US states have disclosure laws that criminalize people with HIV. It may be illegal where you live to have sex with a new partner without disclosing your HIV status. While disclosure is a personal and a sensitive issue, you may be at risk for legal action in some states if you choose not to disclose it right away. You can use the Center for HIV Law and Prevention search tool to find any HIV criminalization laws in your specific state. Talk about your risk profiles and preferences. In any sexual relationship, even if both partners are HIV negative, you should be making a point of talking about your risk profiles and preferences. There's no zero risk sex and no zero risk relationships, whether it's emotional, psychological, or physical. It's important to have conversations about what will minimize your risks of all kinds for both of you. But whether it's about HIV or other concerns, understand that the risk will always remain. With that said, there's plenty you can do to adjust and manage, tweak your risk profile. When were you both last tested for STIs? That's something you want to know, right? When were you last tested? What safer sex practices are important to you? What level of risk is acceptable to you? Are either of you on PrEP, or would you like to be? Are you monogamous or not? If you're non-monogamous, what precautions are you taking with other partners? These conversations are important to have. It's important for you to consider it yourself and also really understand how the person you're connecting with intimately is considering it. It's important for HIV negative partners to remember that HIV is only one type of risk. You're also responsible for testing and mindfulness of the ways your health or lifestyle choices might put your partner or relationship at risk. It's also important to remember that assumptions are dangerous. Someone who knows they're positive and takes action to prevent infecting others is in many ways safer than someone who assumes they're negative but doesn't test regularly. Maintaining ongoing HIV awareness. If you're dating someone who's HIV positive, the point of disclosure may feel like a big moment, and it is. The rest of your life shared with someone HIV positive after that moment may feel like business as usual, at least business as usual with a chronic illness. This is great in that it indicates you aren't sensationalizing and unduly stigmatizing their illness. However, it's also important to make space for the real and ongoing impacts that HIV may have on both your partner's life and your relationship by association, working actively to support them in the challenges they may face that someone HIV negative wouldn't. For example, many HIV positive people face significant stigma in their workplace or home life. They may have to make difficult decisions about whether to disclose in other areas of their life. I encourage having conversations about what level of privacy and discretion feels good to them, what level of openness they're comfortable with having elsewhere in their life, and how you can support them in maintaining this boundary. If they do experience stigma or discrimination based on their HIV status, be mindful of how you can show up as a partner during this experience. Those are my thoughts for today. And if you have any reactions, comments, questions, please post them below. And if you want more information about me, Dr. Frankie, or Little Gay Book, Little Black Book, all the other programs that I have out there, you can see them in the notes below. And thank you all for being here again with me for another Thursday with Ask Dr. Frankie. Kisses, hugs. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day, no matter where you are in the world. Take care.